if you successfully go no contact, right? Meaning you have gotten rid of the narc, gotten them out of your life, you haven't been hoovered back, blah 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 blah. It will turn you into a cutoff artist. Let me explain. Now, I was never really exactly a people, pleaser type person, but I will say if I ever experienced conflict with friends or people that I valued or had good experiences with, I would of course try to make it right and all this, which I guess is just normal. But I think because of my childhood, I maybe did it a little bit more than another person would, and perhaps I was more self conscious than other people tend to be in terms of, oh, what did I do, right? Uh, but after going no contact and seeing that, an irrational person cannot be reasoned with, an irrational person cannot be talked out of their illogical behavior and their abusive bullshit. So why even try anymore? In fact, it it brings your life down trying to do this. Once I saw how effective it was to cut off my mom, egg donor, birth giver. Once I saw the peace of that and the ease of that and the simplicity of that and the fact that I didn't have to negotiate anything else in my head, it was just like, okay, bye. Once I saw that and I got the peace that I got out of that, even though it still was a struggle from time to time, once I saw that, I became a serial cutoff artist. Story time. So I was out excuse me, or visiting one of my favorite little watering holes slash clubs. They have a lot of bands there, a lot of good shit that happens there, a lot of fun times I've had there, right? And as of late, I've created some enemies because, for whatever reason, girls like to talk to me, and not just on a attraction level or whatever. It's mostly I'm just a nice person. In fact, I don't really even have the desire to date or anything like that. I'm trying to get right with me. So I'm not even really looking for that, be it casual or something, long term. I'm not really looking for any of that, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm kind of happy just having friends and having a good time. Right, but a lot of the girls at this place talk to me and sit with me and have explained things to me about their lives. For whatever reason, people have always told me I'm the type of person they feel like they can open up to, which I take as a deep compliment. It also reminds me of how I was used as an ear when I was a kid for my narc mom. So I try to maintain a balance with that and get up and walk away when I've had my fill. But I take it as a compliment. Long story short, I've had several dudes in this area, in this club, you know, start to develop negative feelings for me because they'll come in doing the most and being the loudest and dressing the flashiest. And me, as you can see, I'm always wearing a beanie and generally I'll wear like maybe my leather jacket and black jeans and whatever raggedy t-shirt I feel like, and that's what I throw on. It's a rock and roll club. And I'm not a fashion guy. I'm just not. I really don't give a shit. As long as it's clean, I'll wear it, right? So these guys do the most, but they get the least attention. Probably because they're doing the most. And they have developed negative feelings about me as I'm sitting there simply having friendly conversations. And I'll admit, these women are very attractive, some of them. And so that has put them in a bad mood. And one guy I was kind of cool with and texting with, and I'd see him at all the different shows all around town. Let's just say his name is Jake, right? Now, Jake is one of the dudes who started to develop some negative feelings toward me. Him and this other guy who had been like that from the very beginning of me meeting him, let's just say his name is Tony. Um, like I saw Jake and Tony at the club maybe a week ago. And they were just in the corner as I was again sitting with these girls talking, just talking about life, my job, their jobs, bullshit, politics, bullshitting, right? They're in the little corner tee-heeing and looking back to make sure I see them looking at me. And I'm not a kid. I'm not in high school. I'm not even college age. I'm not even grad school age. I'm an older millennial. I'll be 40 next year. I don't play these games. I don't care about, unless you're putting hands on me, you can look and laugh and point and, spread rumors. You can do whatever you want to do. None of these people will be at my bedside when I die, right? So I look at it, I disregard it, I go back to talking to these beautiful, nice women, right? Okay, the next time I see Jake, right, I see him, so no, that was probably 2 weeks ago. A week later, I saw Jake, and he was giving me the cold shoulder. I was like, what's up, Jake? Like my usual greeting, we send each other jokes and shit on Instagram, and we just generally are silly. And he looked at me like I just told him to go fuck his mother. And interestingly enough, he was, right next to Tony. Tony, I gave him a nod, but I don't really acknowledge this dude. I'm like, you got bad energy. You just seem like a wet blanket. Stay over there with your hipster fucking shades on indoors in a dark club, right? So he gives me this look, and he gives me the up and down, and then I see the talking again back and forth. And so it's like, well, now I see it, and there's no way to rationalize that. There's no way to rationalize the teeing and talking in the corner like a little high school girl. And then I see you a week later and you give me the up and down, which is a universal sign of aggression. And yeah, I'll leave it at that, right? So fast forward to yesterday, okay? I'm in that same place again because I get cabin fever when I'm at home. I can't stay home. I got to go do something, And I see him as I'm going to the back smoking patio area. He's coming out, I'm going in there. And he sees me and freezes, right? Because Tony's not there for him. You don't have Tony to back him up and so he can feel good about himself. He's like, hey, what's up? I looked right through him and kept walking. And he immediately skedaddled out the fucking club. Now, in my former times, in my former years and years back, I would have been like, hey, bud, and pulled him to the side and say, look, I don't know what the problem is, but if I said or did anything, let's just, let's chop it up, let's talk about it, and let's get beyond it. Because I don't like drama. That would have been the speech I gave. At this point in my life, and after having cut off the person who was supposed to be one of the most important figures in my life, didn't behave that way, I don't give a fuck about keeping you around. I don't give a fuck. I've done it with friends or associates like Jake. I've done that with romantic partners. I've done that with casual sex partners. If you do some crazy shit or you just out of nowhere get disrespectful and I'm expected to get on my hands and knees and beg for you to please tell me why, guess what? Bye-bye. I am the king of blocking a bitch. I am the king of blocking somebody that will fuck with me. When you go no contact and you see the piece of it and you see that you can live, look, if you know you can live being the bad guy in somebody's story and you can feel comfortable with that and be in a room full of people who feel that way about you, that's how you know you won. You have become impervious to other people's bullshit. And I will tell you, if you are a person who was scapegoated or you grew up in a narcissistic home, you will be targeted by these people because they sense that energy on you, because you're probably a good person and your energy. Allow me to get my chakra crystals out and my incense for a second. Look, I believe the scapegoat child was chosen because we were the kids with the most potential. That's not me trying to pat myself on the back. That's just pattern recognition, listening to other people's stories in addition to recognizing my story, right? You had the most to offer and you probably were the strongest. And that should correlate to your energy. We are energetic beings. We give off energy to each other. We soak up energy from each other. Just like when you're in a room with a person who's a wet blanket and a piece of shit like a Tony, right? And you just feel drained and like, God, let me get out of here. Or if you're in a room with a person who's energetic and positive and it's not bullshit and they're real, you feel hyped up, don't you? So that should let you know that energetic exchange is a real thing. Everything in life is energy. So when a narcissist identifies you as good energy, they're going to imprint on you in some way. And when you're out in the world, other narcissistic people or people with narcissistic tendencies who want to get off, well, not get off, but shed their negative energy, right? And have somebody to put everything on, such as a scapegoat, right? That role of the whole village putting all their anger and their cares onto the scapegoat and sending them out in the desert. You're going to attract people who want to do that to you. They may not want to do it on the level your parents did it or your narcissistic ex did, but they want to do it on some level. They don't even realize it, but they want to do it. You have to become adept at realizing that you don't need these people, you don't want them around. They don't want good things for you. And I'm not saying that as a paranoid person. I'm not paranoid. In fact, I'll even talk to the person if they don't get too disrespectful, but the guard is up. The wall is up. The facial expression has changed. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not worried about you. But if you become too much of a problem, I'm just going to cut you off. Now, I have a special ability, and I don't know, maybe going through narc abuse and realizing that my kindness was used against me, perhaps I've lost some empathy. I can see that in myself. That might be a personal failing. That might be a superpower. I'm not sure yet. But I have a little less empathy for people now because I see how calculated people are and how willing they are to sacrifice you so they can work on some bullshit within themselves, right? But I have a special talent, and my talent is I'll delete you from my consciousness. Like when I saw Jake in the club last night, I saw him, but I didn't see him. I saw him, but I had already made my mind up. I will delete you from my existence. I will delete you from me even caring anything about you. I will get to a point with a person, and again, I'm not trying to say this like this makes me sound tough or even like it's a good thing necessarily. Again, I'm still exploring this, what this means about me. But I could literally hear you died in a car wreck and just be like, I'm sorry for his family. I can't tolerate any more cannibalism. When I'm dealing with other human beings, you will not try to devour me. You will not try to eat me. You will not try to use me for your whims. I would rather let you go. I don't wish bad on you, but if bad happens, I really won't give a fuck. I promise you. The dude, Tony, that I used, in the example, was recently at another place. This is like a community of a lot of punk rockers and people like that and band people that I kind of travel in somewhat. I'm dipping out of it because they're kind of shisty. But the guy Tony got beat up by this punk band at another club because he's got a big mouth and he talks a lot of shit. He gets crazy. He gets a little insulting. And people told me about it, and they're like, hey, did you hear about Tony? I was like, yeah, I heard about it. I don't know. I'm sorry the guy got beat up. I'm sorry his leg got broken in 3 places. But there are some people in this world you don't need to play with. I'm not going to physically attack you. I'm just going to delete you. And I feel like I've gained that ability / superpower. Again, I'm still examining it, from going no contact and seeing how easy it can be to not have that stupid conversation where I'm begging and pleading to have some insight as to why the relationship has changed or my experience with you has changed. No, I'd rather just cut you off. I'd rather cut you off. And let me tell you something. That's the most powerful thing you can do. Because what you're communicating is, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't even give a fuck about you enough about you to get mad. I don't see you, bro. If you're at the bar drinking a beer, I see a beer can floating in the air. I don't see you. I don't see you, bro. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?